Hey guys, what is up? Happy Friday. My name is Alexis Teichmiller and I am stoked to be spending my afternoon with you guys. I have been loving seeing all of the activity in the Product Creation Masterclass Slack. And guys, we have 159 people, 160 people right now live right now watching this training, and that makes me so excited. I would love for everybody to share in the chat just before we get started. I want to give everybody a chance to kind of get online. I would love for everybody to share what their why is. And this is something that's really important to us at ConvertKit, is when people are creating something from their heart and they're putting, all of their energy and time into something, it's connected to why you're doing it. And specifically when it comes to creating a course or an ebook or something like that, I want to know why you're doing what you're doing. So we've got Simona in the chat. She is incredible, and she will be helping you guys all along the way throughout this training, answering questions. But right now, I'd love for you guys to share, your why, even if it's just a sentence. I was in the ConvertKit community on Slack earlier, reading everybody's why on, I want to have financial freedom. I want to make residual income. I want to go on a vacation with my family. Those whys are so powerful. And whenever you can focus on that why, it makes that path to action so much more clear. So I'd love for you guys to get in there, share your why. I'm going to get started here with the training. Just a few housekeeping things before we get started. Again, I mentioned that Simona was going to be in the chat. During the live training, I will not necessarily be in the chat or answering questions directly from the chat until after the training has ended. And this training will really honestly only last between 20 and 30 minutes. And then we've got a lot of time to get in and answer your guys' questions because that's what this entire live training is for. And so I'm really excited to get started. Again, I'm seeing all your guys' why coming through. Oh, I love it, love it, love it. This makes me so excited, gives me so much energy. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen with you guys. Perfect. Okay, so week one of PCM is product planning. I've seen you guys inside of the PCM Slack community, and I'm loving how you guys are getting started with picking which product, validating that product idea, really narrowing in your niche. And so we're going to be breaking down each one of this week's lessons into really small actionable takeaways. So before we get started, I want to introduce myself to you. My name is Alexis Teichmiller. I've been on the ConvertKit team for almost a year now, and my official quote-unquote role is I'm the affiliate manager here, and I love connecting with people who are passionate about online business and storytelling. I'm actually a lifestyle travel blogger and a podcaster myself. So for all of you, content creators, bloggers, podcasters, I am a part of Side Hustle Nation. I love creating things on the side, and I can really relate to building products and things like that. I started my first business whenever I was 17. I have the entrepreneurial mindset, running through my brain every single second of the day. So that's why I was really excited that our team put together Product Creation Masterclass to teach people how to start making and earning a living online, which is what we at ConvertKit are all about. So lesson one of this past week was narrowing your niche and really narrowing in your ideal customer avatar. And no, an avatar is not those green people or blue people that you've seen on the movies. What an avatar is it's really your target customer or target consumer. So when it comes to, really figuring out your niche, it's all about narrowing it down to one purpose, one mission statement, one focus, and one niche. And whenever you're just getting started, let me tell you, that feels exhausting. It's, you've got all these ideas. You may have multiple audiences that you serve, and you're trying to figure out how to build a product for that one particular audience. So when it comes to niching down, so here are just a few tips that we've put together when it comes to niching down is you have to figure out specific solutions for a specific audience. Have you guys ever put out something and you thought it was really going to resonate with your entire audience and come to find out it didn't really have as much traction as you thought? It's all about really figuring out those specific needs and specific desires and solutions for a specific audience versus trying to serve everybody. The second one would be clear messaging versus cluttered noise. And so, hey, we're all in the online space. We all understand how stinking noisy it can be online. We've got all the different social medias, all the different blogs, podcasts. How do you stand out? How does your messaging get out to the masses? Well, it's more about connecting your audience with your story on an emotional level. And then you have such clear messaging that they very quickly understand who you are, what you do, and how you can help them. And really, when it comes to creating things online and serving an audience, is you are a guide. You are a guide that is helping somebody in need from point A to point B. And that is what your ebook, your course, your tutorials, whatever they might be, you think of yourself as a guide showing them how to do something or teach them to some type of transformation from, point A to point B. And so having really clear messaging around that of, hey, my name is Alexis Teichmiller, and I have a podcast named The Laptop Lifestyle, where I teach virtual entrepreneurs how to connect with other people online, period. So it's very, very concise, it's very specific, and I fit that in about 8 seconds. So niching down and understanding who your target audience is. And when you niche down, it becomes significantly easier to create content. So what we mean by this specifically is that when you're creating content and you don't know who you're creating it for, it's hard to sit down at your laptop and start writing. Or it's hard to think about what kind of course you're going to create when you're not really sure who it is that you're creating it for. So whenever you kind of take those steps to niche down, it makes it that much easier to create that content. So what I've noticed a lot in the PCM channel specifically, and PCM again is Product Creation Masterclass. It's just a little bit of a mouthful, so excuse me if I say PCM. So what I've been noticing is those fears of doubt and maybe that imposter syndrome. And what imposter syndrome is that voice inside your head that tells you, you can't create this, no one's gonna wanna buy this, what makes you think that you can do this thing? And I want to tell you that voice is bad. But what it does is it makes you think that you're not an expert. It makes you think that you're not ready to create whatever it is that you have your heart set on. And I love this sentence. No one else has your unique perspective, set of experiences, or exact blend of skills. And that's what makes you, you. And not to get cliche here, okay? But this unique blend of your perspective, experiences, and set of skills is what actually makes you, that guide. That's what makes you someone that can stand up and teach other people how to do something. So a few discovery questions when it comes to getting to know your ideal customer, or you're niching down and you're really understanding who that person is okay, asking questions like, what does your ideal customer's day look like? What do they value? What don't they value? What are their strengths? What are their weaknesses? What do they want to learn about your niche topic? What are their struggles with maybe your product topic or your industry topic? And then how do they process information and learn? And you could even go as far as, okay, what is their target age? What is their monthly income? What is their annual income? What do they watch on TV at night? That's one of my favorite ideal customer questions, is when you can get down and really understand who exactly it is that you're serving, and where they shop. You have an idea of what kind of TV they like or what kind of podcast they listen to. It really allows you to get inside the mind of your ideal customer, and then you know how to better serve them with that information. So really digging in and understanding and asking yourself those questions of who are they, what do they want, and how can you best serve them. So lesson 2 is what type of product to create. And there was a lot of back and forth on this too in the Slack channel for Product Creation Masterclass. And I loved people who were like, I'm gonna create an ebook. And then 2 days would go by and they would say, you know what, I'm gonna actually create a course now. I think this might be better. So narrowing down what type of product that you want to build, this whole week is that discovery period where you are asking yourself, okay, do I want to build an ebook? Do I want to build a course? Or maybe I want to come out with a series of tutorials or digital downloads. I mean, it can be anything. So specifically in our training, we broke out two of the most popular online products, which would be an ebook and a course. And so first off, I kind of want to touch on the pros and cons of creating an ebook. And again, this is definitely highlighting the material that we covered in our, in the lessons, but I want to give you guys more examples and also hear from you guys in the chat of, the pros and cons of why you think an ebook would or wouldn't fit for you, and even get down to the industries of what ebooks would and wouldn't work for. And honestly, I think ebooks could pretty much work in any industry, because if you think about it, an ebook is just an online electronic book. And if like in real life, and in the real world, physical books are written about everything. So why can't an ebook be written about anything? So specifically the pros of ebooks, it's a natural fit for bloggers. So specifically, I wrote my first ebook about 4 years ago, and it was a collection of different blog posts and experiences from one of my businesses that I had created. So I was taking apart popular blog posts, and I was also infiltrating really popular stories that resonated with my audience on that specific topic. So if you're already a content creator or a blogger, maybe it's just taking some of your most popular blog posts or most asked questions, and you're just creating that content for that. It is a reduced cost too. So a few of my favorite online tools for creating things like ebooks and graphics is Canva. I love Canva. Does anybody else just love Canva? It's so great. It's free. There is a business version of it that you can buy, but you can pretty much do just almost the exact same thing with the free account. And there's also Beacon. I'm a big fan of Beacon. It's spelled just like the word beacon, and it's beacon.by. And what it is it's a template for different ebooks and digital downloads. It makes it very, very easy for you guys to build ebooks and things like that. So I just gave you two free options, and that's what ebooks really do offer, is that reduced cost. And also ebooks can take less time as well. There's also the easy to download and multi-device compatible. So you can have an ebook on your computer, your Kindle, and also on your mobile phone. And it's really easy to download. Whereas within a course, it's more so easier to actually, for a customer to sit down and use on their laptop versus maybe on their mobile phone. So the cons of ebook would be it's a significantly lower price point, higher word count, as more so than a course, because a course is usually more so video or audio. So you're going to have more of a higher word count with an ebook, as well as it's usually a bigger time investment. It can and it can't be. It depends if you're creating something from scratch or if you're recycling content. So that can kind of be both ways. So when it comes to the pros and cons of a course specifically, and again, we can, in the chat after the training ends, and we're kind of digging into things more, we can go back and forth on the pros and cons of ebooks and courses if you'd like. So specifically with courses, the pros of a course would be, obviously it has a significantly higher price point because it has, I think it has a higher perceived value, where a course is, there's usually modules, there's usually, broken out, even just like product creation masterclass. This is a 4-week masterclass. It's a time investment. It's great for visual and auditory learners versus someone that's maybe just visual and reading. And then there's also more customer interaction. So just like we did, you can create Slack channels for your course, for your people that are going through your course, or private Facebook groups, or you can even do private Instagram chats as well with people who are going through your course. So there's a little bit more of a community element to courses that you can really make these people evangelists of your course and your product. And then you're really just driving home that entire source of community. Some cons of courses would be this: there is a higher learning curve. So when it comes to courses, we have free trials for Teachable, Thinkific, and Coach specifically. So when it comes to those three, that's learning another platform. So you're learning some type of learning management system, and it's going to have a little bit of a higher learning curve. There's also multiple launches that go into courses. So, you might have pre-launch, you might have the actual launch, and then you might have post-launch. So pre-launch is whenever you're trying to build those pre-sales, the launch is whenever the course is live, and then the post-launch might be trying to offer discounts to people who didn't buy. So there might be multiple launches there. And then there's just more content types. There's the video, audio, text, graphics. There's just kind of a wider variety of different types of content to intake and to create, which can take more time. Other online products, and this is for anybody who feels like maybe the ebook or the course isn't a good fit for their business. Hey, we hear you, that's totally okay. There's so many other types of online products. So there's tutorials, membership sites, photography, printables. I mean, you name it, you could probably build it online. So don't be discouraged just because we gave the main two examples of ebooks and courses. There are more than likely other products that would better fit your business. So lesson 3, validating your product idea before the creation process. So I always like to say validate before you create, because again, I kind of gave this example before of whenever maybe you've written a blog post that you thought was going to go viral and it didn't, or maybe you've even created a product online that you thought was going to take off and do really well, but it didn't. And usually what that means is it can mean a few things. But it can also mean that you didn't talk to your audience and ask them what they wanted and if they would pay money for it or validate it quite enough. So maybe you asked a few people, but you didn't ask 50 people. Or you thought that it would do really well, but you didn't really quite communicate that with your audience and see if they thought that it's something that they really needed. So the most successful businesses are those who offer solutions where there is already demand. And without the demand, those solutions are obsolete. So if you don't have demand, but you have plenty of things to supply, it's obsolete. There's nothing that you can really do about it. There's no one to buy the product. There's no gap in the market that your product fills, or maybe your unique spin on it. So really making sure that there's a demand for whatever it is that you're creating. So the validation process, and this was another really big topic that I saw come up quite often in the Product Creation Masterclass Slack channel. And if you guys are in that channel, I'm going to have Simona drop that link into the chat, because we have over 250 people in that channel right now. I love seeing you guys so active. It gives me so much energy, and that is exactly why we created this masterclass. So woohoo! Okay, so when it comes to validation, so step 1 would be to survey your blog readers. So maybe you only have 10, maybe you have 1,000, maybe you have 10,000. But sitting down with those people that are reading your blog, or maybe it's even just a test group of people, maybe you don't even have a blog or an email list yet, that's okay. Maybe it's just surveying people that you think or know would be interested. This is asking them those discovery questions of, okay, here's the kind of product that I'm thinking about creating. Would you have a need for this? Or what is your biggest struggle right now as a mom blogger? Oh, okay, it's time. Ooh, what if I created a course on productivity and like productivity hacks for moms, for mom bloggers specifically? So you can, most of the time, if you ask open-ended questions, they'll tell you what they need, versus you prompting them with, this is the course I want to buy, or sorry, this is the course I want to create. Do you think you would buy it? Versus just asking them what they're struggling with and what they need most right now. And usually you'll see a common thread. So then validation process step 2 would be to have one-on-one conversations with those ideal customers. So let's say specifically you surveyed 50 people. So you sent out the survey to 50 people and they replied, and then maybe there's 10 of them who are your top readers or people that are most engaged, or whose answers you really resonated with, and you said, oh, they really said something there that really struck home with me. I want to dig deeper. So have one-on-one conversations, whether that's through Facebook message, texting, jump on a quick Zoom or phone call. Have those one-on-one conversations and maybe dig deeper, because most of the time they are going to bring up, things that you might not have thought of before, just because you gave them the opportunity. So, and that's something I want to touch on, is giving your audience the opportunity to actually have a say in the creation process. They feel emotionally invested. So then whenever you would, launch that product that they had a hand in creating, they're like, oh my gosh, they listened to me. They built this product that I told them that I needed. Here's my credit card. So step 3 would be send educational content and build a wait list. So this is usually around creating some type of landing page or opt-in form that prompts people and letting them know, hey, this is coming. I am creating this course on XYZ, and opt in if you would like to be notified of this. And usually that educational content that comes alongside that is that content that's either on that landing page or it's in an autoresponder sequence that follows up when they opt in. So let's say a form pops up on your website and says, hey, I'm really excited. I'm building this course on XYZ, and it's going to touch on these 3 main topics, and I'm releasing it soon. Sign up here if you'd like to be notified for whenever it launches. So you're building that wait list just right there, just by interest. And then that educational content can come in a autoresponder sequence. Usually we call them sequences. Other platforms call them funnels, autoresponders, campaigns. So specifically inside of ConvertKit, is you could use our sequences to then educate them even more on what that course is going to be. So you're warming them up. You haven't even created it yet, maybe you haven't even launched it yet, but you're adding that educational content alongside it, and you're validating yourself as the expert on whatever course or ebook or product that you're going to release. And then the step 4 would be the validation goal and asking for payment. So that goal, this can go either way. I don't want to sit here and tell you that if you don't have 100 people validate your goal and prepay that, it's not going to be a success, because that's not true. So I always like to say, in between 10 to 15 people that validate and may, pay 50% or may pay, 30% of the asking price, and making sure that you're raising that launch price, making sure that they're not paying what your launch price would be. But setting that validation goal of, okay, I want to have 25 people or 15 people or whatever that looks like for you, and then asking for a percentage payment of whatever your launch price would be. Lesson 4 is intentional goal setting for your first product and clarifying its purpose. This has to be probably my favorite lesson of this past week, because I love goal setting and I love clarity and purpose. So I love this next picture, #goals, because if you don't set goals and you don't set and really get clarity on your purpose, it's really hard to take action. It's really hard to move forward towards that end, quote unquote, goal if you're not really clear on how it is that you're going to get there. And so clarity of your purpose determines what your objectives are. And so whenever you're able to really get clear on your purpose of, okay, this is why I'm doing this, this is how I'm going to do it, and this is step by step my objectives of my timeline, or specifically, setting up the objectives so that I know what to expect out of myself, and then also I'm setting myself up for success because I'm taking the time right now to line out my objectives and get really clear on my purpose. So defining your purpose. So these are the 3 big purpose defining questions. Is what is my product going to help my audience with? So again, I've said it a few times so far, is you are the guide. So how are you going to help your audience have this massive transformation or clarity through your product? Question 2, how is my product going to help my audience? So what is it going to help them with? And then how is it going to actually help them? And then why does my audience want or need my product? So why do they need it? Why do they want it? What type of need is it fulfilling? And this question is something that I personally always have to ask myself, is what is your personal definition of success? And so I just want to take just a minute to share specifically what I've seen working at ConvertKit for the past year. Is people in the online space have this really skewed version of what success is when it comes to launching products and having these large email lists. Is people think that they need to have an email list of 5,000 to be able to launch a product and make $10,000. And you don't have to have these massive launches in order for that to be a success. So I think really understanding what your definition of success is. It to just help 15 people? Is it to get 50 people through your course, 50 paying people through your course the first time it launches? That seems like a good goal if you've never launched a course before ever. So I think really getting clear on your definition of success and not what the industry's definition of success is, or maybe what other bloggers are doing. I think that is so important to really narrow down what your definition of success is specifically. And so when it comes to like financial goals, is we created this income goal formula. And it's really two different parts. So the average conversion rate of an email list to actually buy is around 2 to 3%. And that's industry average. So it could be more, could be less. That's kind of the average is 2 to 3. So taking your number of subscribers and multiplying that by your conversion rate would be the number of students that would actually go through your course or buy your product. And then you would take that number and you would multiply it by the product price, and that would be your income goal. And again, this formula is actually in lesson 4 of the PCM directory. And so Simona, if you want to drop lesson 4, the link to lesson 4 into the chat, so that people can actually, screenshot this or kind of play around with numbers. I think this is so helpful because now you have a formula of understanding, all right, this is the goal, the income goal I want. So I can plug and play different numbers of subscribers or different product prices in order to get that income goal that is desired. Lesson 5 would be creating an ideal timeline for all product tasks specifically. So if you guys saw the lesson that launched this morning, you saw a large timeline of step-by-step, each day of the 4-week layout of what it would take each day to be successful and launch a product in 4 weeks. So one thing that we all want more of is time. And so when it comes to building a product for the very first time, and maybe this is not your full-time job, maybe you're a side hustler like me, it's really daunting to set aside time in order to build a product or write an ebook or create tutorials. And so this is a really very, I think, applicable piece of advice is to tackle what you can when you can in a way that fits into your current schedule versus these unrealistic goals of, I'm going to work a full 8 to 9 hour job, and then I'm going to go home and I'm going to crank it out for 6 more hours, and I'm going to wake up early and I'm going to do it all over again. It's not very sustainable over a long period of time. So maybe launch week, your schedule might look a little bit different, but even just setting aside 30 minutes a day or an hour a day, maybe you're getting up, an hour earlier, or you're going to bed an hour later at night. Setting aside the time that is feasible for where you are right now in your season of life is really important, because if you get stuck on time, it'll really, you kind of get stuck in quicksand and you're not able to move and take action because you're so worried about where you're going to find the time to do it. So step 1, make an outline and really make it realistic. So make it realistic, but push yourself a little bit in order to make sure that you're reaching your deadlines. Create time blocks. This is something I do in the mornings, is I block out from 7 to 8:30 every morning to work on my side hustle, so that whenever I start my work day, I am ready and motivated and focused on whatever it is that I'm doing that day. Or if I'm in launch period where I'm launching a podcast or launching a new ebook, I'm able to set aside that time and block it out, put it on my calendar, because whenever you put it on your calendar, you're usually more apt to do it than if it's just kind of this floating thing that's looming over your head that's, I need to do that, I need to do that. So setting aside those time blocks, and then also setting firm deadlines. So at the end of each week, checking in with yourself and seeing where you are on that timeline and making sure that you're meeting those desired deadlines that you set. Whew, that was so much fun. I know I probably talked kind of fast. We just zoomed through that in 30 minutes. So now I want to actually have a live Q&A with you guys and jump in and see any questions that you guys had in the chat. So that's the whole reason for these entire live Q&As, is to do this exactly. And so I would love to hear what your questions are. So one question that I see already is, do you guys feel like a short PDF workbook falls under the same thing as an ebook? Probably shouldn't get too caught up in the name. So an ebook, do you guys want to know a secret? I feel like we're close, so I feel like I can tell you guys a secret. So my first ebook I created in PowerPoint. And this is a couple years ago. This is before Beacon and Canva were really a thing. So I created my ebook in PowerPoint and I saved it as a PDF. And so, but it was an ebook because it was, 30 some pages. And I just saved it as a PDF, and then I was able to kind of go from there as far as I wanted to give it away for free, or if I wanted to charge for it. So I don't really think it matters on the name if you're creating it as a quote unquote ebook, a workbook. I know people who have really successful products that are just workbooks. So maybe that's what you're creating. It's more of a digital download than getting caught up on, is it an ebook? Is it a workbook? Is it a PDF? So I think it's completely up to you how you would like to kind of formulate that. Okay, how do you determine what to offer for free versus sell? This is so great. So when it comes to free versus paid, so what I always like to say is give away the what and charge for the how. So giving away what it is that you need to do, what kind of problem that you're going to solve, or what it is that they need to do to go through this transformation, and then you are going to actually charge for the how they do it. So maybe let's just take a course, for instance, specifically. So a course is maybe it's 4 modules. Maybe you give away for free module 1, which is kind of the introductory, you're kind of creating all those discovery, really getting into the step-by-step, okay, here's what you need to do. And then you charge for, and if you want the how, here's the link to actually buy the product. Or I've seen other people who create an ebook and sell that. They might give away a 5-page, PDF of maybe just the beginning of that ebook and give it away for free as a lead magnet. Lead magnets are a great way to build your email list. And again, we're an email marketing company, so we have all different types of tips and tricks on how to build your email list, and creating a free incentive that's going to really hook them and get them really interested and energized on whatever it is that you're creating is so vital. So if you have, let's say you have 100% of your product, give away 10% of it for free. And then you're getting them hooked, and then you can kind of funnel them into a sequence autoresponder, and maybe you can pitch them that product down the line. I hope that answers your question. How long should an ebook be to sell? Honestly, I have heard so many different, opinions on this. My free ebook that I wrote was 25 pages. I've also seen people sell ebooks that are 30 pages for $7. So I think it really depends on the content and the true value, quality of the ebook. So if it is 100 pages, but you only pretty much go an inch deep, that whole 100 pages, then I would say it might look like it has a lot of, you have the quantity over quality. So maybe you have a 40-page ebook that is an inch wide and a mile deep, where you deep dive onto this one thing. And then that one thing, there might be multiple components of it that you can then lead them in to sell the product or sell the course from that one lead magnet. Okay, more questions. I'm loving seeing all of these questions come in. Okay, if you have no subscribers, is it more valuable to give away your first product to build your list? I see this as 2 different things. So if you have no subscribers, I would focus on building a really quick, like a free incentive that, like, if you're going to take the time to build a course or to build a really strong product, please do not give it away for free. Do not undervalue the knowledge that you have and the weight that your words can hold, just because you might not have a lot of subscribers yet. So whether that means creating a product and setting it aside just for right now in order to create a free incentive to grow that email list that you can launch that product to. I would just hate to see you create a really incredible course or a really incredible, quality ebook and give it away for free just because you might not have the audience yet. So I would challenge you to create a free incentive that you can lead into to then pitch that course to, even if it's just 100 subscribers. Okay, how should I think about guarantees or refunds for a product? When is it time to issue a refund if someone is not satisfied with your product? Well, at ConvertKit, we give a 30-day money-back guarantee. So we have a 30-day money-back guarantee because we have a lot of 1-month free trials. So we give people that 30-day window to decide if they want to continue or not. I think this is completely dependent on you. So if let's say they get all the way through it, and then if they didn't like any of the content, then you'll give them a full refund. Or if they get 50% of the way through it, and then you want to issue a refund, I think honestly that's kind of up to you. It depends on how long your course is. I could see something like this money back guarantee more so for a course, because courses are usually higher price points. So with a higher price point, people might want that money back guarantee or that refund more so than if they spent $10 on an ebook. It's a lower price point, and if they didn't like it, it's not like they lost $200 or $500. I hope that answers your question. So yeah, what if you're just getting started and don't have a list or a blog? I would say, again, I'm going right back to those free incentives. So finding out what it is that your audience is interested in, finding those common questions that you're getting asked, and making sure that you're creating some type of free product even that answers those questions. So we always like to say those questions that you get asked most often, turn those questions into blog posts. So if you're just getting started with your blog, same thing. If the questions that you're getting asked the most, turn those into free incentives. So if you have a lot of questions, or there's a lot of people who are interested in whatever your topic is, I would definitely focus on what people are asking you most. That's basically you're surveying your list, even though you don't have a list yet. Is these people are asking you questions because they see you as an authority figure. And then you're taking those questions and you're turning it into a free incentive so that you can, so that you're able to, get their email address, and then later on down the line, maybe pitch them a product. How long should an ebook be to sell? Okay, so we answered that one. Okay, any fresh ideas for other places to find and talk to ideal customers? Great question. So any fresh ideas or other places to find and talk to ideal customers? Something that I have found that is honestly so refreshing are all these private Facebook groups. So I know Melissa Griffin has an incredible one, Helene Sula of Helene in Between. A lot of these bloggers will have these really incredible Facebook groups, and maybe you started your own private Facebook group. Is getting in there and asking questions, really like discovery questions of, hey, and use a disclaimer. So if it's, let's say for instance, your audience are virtual millennial entrepreneurs. So, hey, all my millennial virtual entrepreneurs, I have a question for you. What are you guys struggling with most right now? And so that is something that I think that you could lead into those more private Facebook questions, as well as posts on Facebook, social media, Twitter, Instagram. I think sometimes people don't see social media like the resource that it really is. It's a resource for answers and getting to know your ideal customer a bit more outside of just your email list. So yes, go to your email list if you have one, but if not, start where you already are and ask those questions in those communities that you're already currently in. So I think that would be a good place to start outside of your niche, or maybe you already have a list, is to get outside of that, as well as online forums are really popular too. So getting into online forums and asking those questions there too. How much did you sell your first book for? So my first book was $12, and then my second book was free. So I think that and on my first book, I sold like 150 copies of that first book, and then I took it down, and then my second book was a free ebook. So I think that was me testing. And that's another thing too, is to always be testing and experimenting. I think a lot of times as entrepreneurs, we get super stuck on, I did this and it didn't work and I failed. Therefore, I shall never do it again, or I shall never try again. Whereas I think it's important to always be testing and being like, all right, I tried that, didn't work. Tried this, didn't work either. And I'm really excited for you guys to watch Chris Guillebeau's expert interview that I did with him. I'm not sure which week it launches, but he talked about his first course was not necessarily quote unquote successful in the eyes of the online business umbrella. He said he didn't sell that much and not that many people took it, but he was learning how to launch a course and how to build a course. So I think right now, especially if you're just getting started, give yourself that space to experiment and to test, and give yourself the grace it takes to learn and then move on, and kind of always be reevaluating and testing what works and what doesn't. Is putting a sale price on an ebook good practice? Say the set price is $10, but I put it on sale for $7. I'm gonna go almost like Jeff Walker style. Is anybody familiar with Jeff Walker? Jeff Walker of the Product Launch Formula. I love Jeff Walker. I actually read his book Launch, and honestly, it changed my entire mindset on email marketing. So if you guys have never read Launch by Jeff Walker, please do it, especially when you guys are launching products. But he talks about things like scarcity and urgency and things like that. So when it comes to specifically putting things on sale, I think it depends on how long it's on sale. So are you doing this week only? This $10 ebook is now $7. And also, I don't think that personally, I don't think that is a large enough cut. So for an ebook to go from $10 to $7, that's just $3 difference. I buy coffee that's more expensive than $3. So I would say if it's a low price point product, don't discount it. But the fact that you're discounting it already before maybe anybody's bought it says that, is this worth my money? If you're already discounting it and it's only $7 now. So I think it's different if it is $500 and it's on sale for $299. See, that's different. That's a larger price gap between that sale price. So I think it's a couple different questions of how long is it going to be on sale, and how big is that price gap? Is it, hey, the ebook's $20, but today it's 10. It's a little bit different than the $3 difference. So I hope that kind of answers your question. And also, I just want to encourage you guys to just stop discounting yourself. If you create something of quality and people asked for it and validated it, then don't cut the price point just because you might be a little weary that people might not buy it. Okay, how do I build an email list? I don't understand how it works. I'm pretty lost still when it comes to ConvertKit. Does it store your email list and send out your emails to people that click and subscribe on your website? I have never done anything like this. I want to build an email list, but I do not know how the technicalities work. Welcome to ConvertKit. We are so excited that you're here. Specifically when it comes to building an email list, there are a lot of different ways that you do it. But what ConvertKit does is it is basically an email marketing platform or service. So whenever you have a form on your website, and I'm sure if you're in the online space or you follow other bloggers, you've seen pop-ups that will ask you to put in your email address. When you put in your email address, those emails are stored inside of ConvertKit, and then you can tag them based on where they come in. So if you have multiple opt-in forms, you can kind of segment your list based on their different interests, as well as you can, this is a little bit more advanced, but you can also put them into different funnels of autoresponder emails. So they came in through this form on life coaching. Okay, great. Well, I'm going to tag them with the life coaching tag, and then I'm going to put them in my sequence or my series of basically automated emails, and I'm going to educate them on why life coaching is important. And then by maybe email 7 or 8, I'm going to make them a pitch and ask them to book me for life coaching. So that's like a very, very condensed version of kind of how the power of ConvertKit, and there's so much more to it. But when it comes to building an email list, I'd say there are a lot of different ways you can do it, but the free incentives definitely help. So asking your audience or people in your space what they need, why they need it. So I'll give you an example, and this is a personal example. So I do a lot of travel for my side hustle, and what that usually entails is I'm working with brands in order to travel. And my brand is a laptop lifestyle, and I talk about travel and things like that. But I was getting a lot of questions on how are you working with these brands? Like, how are you making these connections? So I created a free email template through ConvertKit that people could sign up for on my website that actually gave them the templated email that I send brands that gets me to work with brands like Airbnb and Turo and things like that. And I had no idea that it was going to be successful until it was successful, because I just tested it. But I had probably had at least 20 people ask me how I was doing it. And that's why I was like, man, there's a demand for this. So even if you're just getting started and you don't have a list, what are people asking you? What about like your industry or your niche are you really good at, or are you kind of an authority in? And that maybe there's a free incentive, opportunity there that you can build a, one-page PDF download about that thing, or maybe it's a free checklist or something like that, in order to build that email list. So let's see if there's any other questions. Simona, are there any other questions specifically? Okay, if you have a new blog or business, where would you validate your ideas? Do you just ask questions online? I would say yes, you can ask questions online. Just like I said with social media, especially if you don't have any email subscribers or business yet and you kind of still want to validate your idea, I would go to other peers in your industry that you trust and ask them specifically maybe what it is that they would be interested, or what they are maybe struggling with, and asking them specific questions like peer-to-peer in industry, as well as going on to online platforms and doing those, asking questions in those areas as well. Okay, so guys, we've got about 2 more minutes left. We're going to end this about 2:50 Central Time. If you guys haven't had a chance to ask a question, please jump in and ask a question, as well as if you haven't gotten your free first month of ConvertKit yet, there are 2 beautiful buttons. There's one in your upper right-hand corner and one in your lower left-hand corner. And get your free month of ConvertKit if you'd like to try it out. It's definitely, while you're going through PCM specifically, it's helpful to have an email marketing platform to actually store these email addresses and make sure that you're launching to a good live, warm audience. Any other questions specifically, guys? I'd love to answer. I'm so new to blogging. Do people sign up by email to receive your blog posts? Yeah, so that's actually called an RSS feed. Guest 556. I am addressing you right now. So that's called an RSS feed. So what that would be is you're just connecting ConvertKit to your blog, and every time you post a blog post, whoever has subscribed to receive those automatic emails from your blog, that just funnels right through ConvertKit. And there's actually a really helpful article in our knowledge base. Simona, if you could drop in the link to our knowledge base, it's also help.convertkit.com. That's our knowledge base. You can type in pretty much anything in there, and you're going to find a way how to do that inside of ConvertKit. Daphne has a very urgent question. Is a digital notebook a good idea for a free download? What kind of digital notebook specifically, Daphne? I would say any type of, if you've seen a need for it, then I wouldn't see why not. But I think it more so begs the question of, what does your audience need most, and then how can you serve them with that free download? Perfect. Okay, guys, it's 2:50. I'm in Nashville, so I'm in Central Time. Guys, this has been so much fun. Laura, I'm gonna drop in the link after we end this, and I'll send you the URL on how to set up your RSS feed. I'd be happy to do that. So guys, this has been so much fun. Thank you for hanging out with me on this beautiful Friday. And again, thank you guys for going through Product Creation Masterclass. I cannot tell you how much energy this gives our team to see all of you guys really just diving in and going after it. This is exactly why we created ConvertKit, was for people like you. So we're so thankful, and I really appreciate you guys a lot. Thank you. Have an awesome day.